David Leopold, an immigration attorney, former president of the American Immigration Lawyers Association, and back with us is Anna Marie Cox. David, looking at both this case and the wider debate, this is an administration that is taking executive power very seriously.
You know, you look at this case with this 15-year-old boy that was murdered in this, what they call this constitutional free zone between the United States and Mexico, the border. And in my mind, that's a metaphor for what Trump is doing to the entire United States. He's taking a wrecking ball to the Statue of Liberty. We've seen people detained at airports. We've seen people raided over the last week. And tonight we understand that a woman, an undocumented woman, was arrested after she got a protective order in court. Undocumented men arrested after they walked out of a homeless shelter for hypothermia. I mean, this is a disaster, the Donald Trump administration.
Anna, on the politics here, Trump's folks say he ran on immigration, he ran on being tough, he made it very clear, and these are the kind of positions that, as I mentioned, both parties have held. Presidents tend to want more, not less power, and that foreigners shouldn't have new or extra rights.
Yeah, I mean, that is something that presidents on both sides have argued, and it's also something that many Americans find antithetical to the idea of being an American. I mean, we call them constitutional rights, but a lot of people understand them to be human rights enshrined in the Constitution. And the idea of due process is one that, you know, I think Americans take pretty seriously, and that's one of the ones that was violated in the travel ban. I think this is also an area where you're going to see that Trump's, you know, support did come from not just red America. It came from the red parts of red states where we have lots of blue islands. Cities like Minneapolis, which is a sanctuary city, cities like Houston, cities like Dallas. You know, there are cities where these raids are taking place. Austin, I'm naming Texas cities, obviously, for a reason. And these are cities where the immigrants are an important part of the economy, important part of the social factor, the social fabric. And, you know, it's actually just today, I actually happened to be sitting down for lunch and overheard this party next to me talking about a friend of theirs whose husband was undocumented and was now being deported. And I don't think people realize, like, the effect that this is going to have, not just on the immediate families, but in our, you know, fairly, you know, our cosmopolitan, diverse cities where people know people who know people. I mean, to start to pill on these threads, whole communities are going to unravel, and it's not going to be just black and brown people that are affected, you know? I mean, it's going to be the whole city.
David, final thought.
Well, look, I mean, what Anna is pointing out is absolutely correct. And what we have here tonight is a president who has no regard for the rule of law. He has no regard for the Constitution. And he has sent out this ugly deportation force. And, you know, to cities, Anna points out, Houston, points out Austin. These are places, by the way, that have stood up to Donald Trump. So this deportation force is not just about immigration. This is about politics, and this is about politics in a show of force, and it's very dangerous, and we need to stand up to it.
Right, and the other big question you both alluded to is, what does the U.S. government want to do, and what rights are owed to people who may be non-citizens? There is precedent that some of them have rights. This case is going to look at this in what is obviously a very regrettable circumstance. Very interesting. We're going to be watching the court. David Leopold and Anna Marie Cox, thank you so much for joining us. You can find